So the practice that I chose was anticipate, and it says anticipate likely student approaches, missteps, and solution paths to mathematical tasks, as well as questions to ask students prior to teaching the lesson. So I found in the PowerPoint, I found some really good information about anticipating. And so the PowerPoint says that anticipating involves carefully considering what strategies students are likely to use to approach or solve a challenging mathematical task for both correct and incorrect, how to respond to work that students are likely to produce by developing general questions that would help probe students' thinkings about the task, and to develop follow-up questions for each solution that probes their understanding of the solution and extend or advance the students' thinking about the solution. It also says that it should be carefully considered to which student strategies are likely to be most useful in addressing the mathematical goal. This is an important practice for facilitating meaningful mathematical discourse because it allows the teacher to be fully prepared for the lesson so that the students can get the most out of the lesson and the goals. Instruction focused by mathematical discourse engages students as active participants in making sense of mathematical ideas and reasoning about mathematical relationships. So this is talked about on page 145 in our textbook. This is true with the anticipation step because anticipating the participation that students will give and what connections might be made throughout the lesson will help the flow of the conversations and discussions. Mathematical discourse is a vehicle by which students express their ideas about mathematical topics and clarify understanding. That was also talked about on page 145 in our textbooks. Teachers will work with colleagues to identify the mathematical learning goals, anticipate likely student solution paths, and consider how to best respond to students as they engage in the task. The anticipated student approaches should include appropriate use of representations and solution paths, as well as likely student missteps, misconceptions, and errors. That's on page 160. So as you can see, anticipation is very important for a teacher to implement this practice because it kind of sets the way for the lesson and kind of gives you an idea of how the lesson may go. Because I know for myself personally, I've actually had lessons where students have asked questions that I was not prepared for, and so by anticipating what those questions might be, you can become more prepared for what to expect, and also you can kind of keep that lesson on track of what goal is going to be your end goal for the lesson. By using all 5 practices, it's important to make you a better teacher because each one of these practices supports a different level of the student learning and understanding. I think for a student to get the best experience out of a lesson, it would be beneficial to use all 5 practices in your teaching.